I'm Joe. Figured I'd just give everyone a sort of quick rundown of my entire setup of the Jeep that allows me to be on the road full time. Consider subscribing, but let's get right into it. On the inside, we have what they call in the Jeep world, it's a 60-40. 60% of the seats are on one side and the 40% of the seats are on the other. So 60-40. Essentially, I've just got like a cot size bed here. It's just a couple of foam workout mats in a very squishy and real foamy mat on the bottom. Living out of your car, everything gets dirty like all the time. If you know, you know. This sort of material where it's not gonna, actually get in to the bed. It just brushes all right off. I love that. The dirt stays trapped. So having this, it's just like, there's nowhere for it to go. I built this to be able to work off of and keep everything nice and tidy. Being an SUV build, it's obviously a much, it's not like van life or anything where you have plenty of room, but this has been working for me for quite a while. If I could give you guys any advice, if you're doing car camping, SUV camping or anything like that, biggest thing is try to keep as much headroom as you can. I've seen a bunch of Jeep guys where they, they outfit everything to where, they have a ton of gear and stuff on the inside, but they leave, just a little bit of room for them to sit up and to actually sleep inside. So they're spending most of their time outside. But with this build, like I have plenty of room to, to sit up and plenty of room for activities. Most car campers can't do this. Downward dog. Downward dog. Upward dog. You can't tell me most car campers can do that. So this is, if I can give you guys any advice, try to keep as much headspace as possible. So before I built this bench, I just had everything sort of cluttered. So having this and having, everything where it needs to be all the time, it's been like a major improvement of just like quality of life of living on the road. This has allowed me to pretty much edit all my videos and keep the show on the road. Make sure you're very organized. I see a ton of people who are just like, they have just clutter everywhere. Like I've got some of that, but it makes sense where the clutter is. I would say probably just having the extra chaos of clutter added onto just the natural chaos of living on the road is just something you really want to avoid. So definitely having compartments of where things need to be. They're always going back there. I kind of go back to my firefighting days where, you always put the gear back. It's always, assembled back in the same location. So whenever you need it, you go right there, and everyone on the truck or everyone on the engine knows exactly where it's going to be. Effectively, I just have a cooler here. It is just a cooler for now. So I'm having to refill it with ice every couple of days. My just like miscellaneous, just stuff section, extra supplies and stuff like that. It got some propane in here. And then this front one here, I consider this my pantry. So you can see I can access all of my food, everything I need, utensils and everything from the inside. At night, if I'm stealth camping, I don't ever have to get out of the vehicle. I do have a 2-burner stove, but I can't grab it from inside here. So anytime that I cook inside, I've got a single burner propane stove that I can just set up here on the bench and cook up some food. The 3-box system, there, and there. If you guys are interested on how I built it and why I built it certain ways, I made a video on that a little while back, and it cost me under $200 to build. What's really nice about Wranglers is you can use the roll cage and the roll bar. You can see this big overhead net I have. I just have my pillows, blankets, some extra clothes, sweatshirts and stuff like that. Anything that I would need at night. You see all these people, all these car campers, and they just leave, like during the day, they just leave their beds set up or whatever and have their pillows and blankets and stuff strewn everywhere. So having this, keeps everything organized out of the way, and it doesn't make it too unbearable to be inside. But if you were to have, a bunch of clutter and stuff everywhere, it sucks. I do have a Jackery Explorer 240. I'll show you the whole electronic setup, but I just keep this here. So this is super helpful. If you guys don't know how to wire up a secondary battery like I'm going to show you to your alternator, having a solution like this really works really well. Or my hiking backpack, so it's got all my hiking supplies in it, bear spray, all of that, just right there. doesn't move anywhere. What I want to get are some more packs, you know, that I could just string up here to the roll bar. They're always out of the way, but if I can just, you know, kind of like this one where I can just zip it open and access, you know, whatever I need. For the Jackery, I do have a solar panel just tucked on the back side of this roll bar, strapped on. And then I do have a monitor here. So I do have the ability to hook up my Xbox, which I'll show you where it is. I do a lot of off-roading. It seems to stay there pretty well. So one thing about having an SUV when it comes to like stealth camping, if you had a truck and a truck bed, obviously you have to like hop out every time, open up the back bench and hop in. But with this, I can pop up here and drive away, which I've done multiple times. I've done some stealth camping at casinos. I've taken advantage of hotel parking lots. It's pretty nice just being able to pop in and out, you know? So the biggest thing about, you know, living in your car, I can understand if you have like a Subaru or a different type of SUV where they don't have sort of the outside components like Wranglers do. So I'd say having the Wrangler, it has a lot more benefits than other cars. Meaning, you know, the spare tire rack, I've got, you know, this whole show here. The reason why it's actually bearable to live inside of this thing is because I can put so many things on the outside. Real quick, so I've got a 5-gallon water jug on the back that's strapped in. I have a 5-gallon gas tank. It's usually empty. Also, what I have are these side bags. Don't worry about the dust. We just hit a massive trail. But what I like to do is I keep all like my stinky stuff, my dirty clothes, my boxing equipment and stuff like that outside. So that's kind of what this is for on this side. But on the actual tire bag, I have fishing rod, which we just caught and filleted a fish, which still stinks like fish, so I don't want that stuff on the inside. I've got a shovel. I think I keep my hiking boots in here, running shoes. I've got a camping chair. I've got a hammock in here. So it's really nice being able to just keep everything on the outside. I believe I just have some gear. I've got a hatchet, sunscreen, I've got a toe strap in there, more sunscreen, and just other more emergency related stuff. One big thing as well is I like to cook decent meals. So what I did was I built this. Oh, it's so dirty. This drop down table. I'll put my 2-burner Coleman stove on it and be able to just work off this. This is a Wii Boost. Essentially it's an antenna that grabs the cell signal, and then there's a little antenna that's supposed to transmit or be the output antenna that's on the dash. I usually keep it off. I don't run it very much. Like I've already mentioned a couple of times, the reason why living on the road is actually bearable is because I put as much stuff on the outside as possible. So here I've got extra towel and pretty much all my clothes. I wear like this windbreaker like every day. So I think I overdid it on the clothes, but I can always get rid of some. So on this side, this is all like emergency equipment. I've got power tools, I've got like fuses, anything car related, ratchet straps, jumper cables, you know, anything I need to like rebuild what I already built inside, I have the capability to do. Also, when it comes to servicing my battery, whether I need to do like new crimping or cutting of cables, making new electric connections, I have all that with me. But I've kind of learned that less is more living on the road. Sort of Max Tracks knockoffs attached to the side. I did get stuck in Missouri once, so I had to call a tow truck. So passenger seat, this is where I keep my day bag. So my day bag is like my gym bag, shirts and shorts and stuff like that. Anything bathroom related. This is where like my shower gear, my sandals and everything, and I'll keep a towel in here as well. This is like my electronics, like my laptop will slide in and out of there. I've got a couple of books. The biggest thing up here, this is where I keep my secondary battery. So this is a 200 amp hour lithium ion battery. I have it hooked up to an MPPT charge controller, as well as tucked back here. This is my 700 watt inverter. It's all Renogy. I just kind of mounted the Xbox right on top of it. So this is kind of where I can, I can turn the inverter on and off here. It's kind of a tight space, but it's nice just having everything out of the way. So I've done all these cables and stuff myself. I've got a few fuses hooked up. And what this does, this battery is actually charged by the car when the car is running. So anytime I turn the car on and the alternator charges your car's battery, when that gets full, it starts trickling and charging my other battery. And you can see I just ran the wires. Wranglers have a little open spot there, and I just ran the positive and negatives through a fuse here to the actual terminals on the battery on the passenger seat, and then I've just grounded it to the frame there. So I found the 200 amp hours works really well for me. I have an extension cable that I plug my my MacBook charger into. I charge the Jackery smaller battery from that battery. Other things that I keep on me. So you can see this is the backside of the netting. So I've got actually a driver and a couple of clubs, as well as my fishing rod here. But fishing rod gets used quite a bit. Pots and pans kind of tucked back up here. This is sort of my kitchenware. I'll show you this real quick. This just unrolls. It's an old tool bag, but it unrolls and it's got like olive oil, some spices and stuff that I use, other kitchen utensils, lighter, can opener, and then some knives and other utensils on the bottom. And kind of going back to the point of like everything has a place to be, everything has a home, so everything's not just strewn everywhere. It makes life so much easier on the road. So pro tip, if you guys are thinking about doing this, try to like compartmentalize everything and make sure everything like has a place to be. Is just my pantry. It pulls out so I can, bring it to the back and cook all my food and stuff. But you can see this is kind of like the clutter chaos I want to avoid, but at least it's all in here, stuff like that. It all tucks away. I guess I'll talk about like things I want to improve. So one of the biggest hassles about having just a cooler and not like a Dometic fridge, plugged into one of your power sources. This is really annoying. So I think in the future, getting a Dometic fridge or something that can just replace this to where I'm not using ice. I don't think the power drain on some of those fridges, some of the smaller ones, is that great. So I think with the setup I have, the electronic setup I have, it should be able to handle it. These are just your standard, I think they're 29-inch Wrangler tires that come stock, but I'm thinking about 1 or 2 inch lift, maybe 33-inch tires. I don't want to go 35, because if you go 35-inch, you have to re-gear the motor. Other than that, like, I don't want more things. So if anyone's like how, I know a lot of people are like, how are you making this minimalist setup work for you? It's worked really well. Adding more stuff is just like, it's too much clutter. You don't need it. Everything that I have, like, I've been using pretty much every day. You really don't want to put too much more into this, I'd say. I don't want to clutter up the inside at all. I love having the headroom, the space. There's not much more that I need. One thing I will say, if we can get this channel growing, I'm gonna try to get a dirt bike, and if I can mount it to the front bumper, that would be like, that's like the last thing I probably would want. So that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions about anything about my setup, or have any comments, want to suggest I do something, let me know down in the comments. A lot of my content is a lot of hiking, adventure stuff, a lot of fishing. You saw all my gear in there, so if you like any of that, consider subscribing. And we're heading north. We're pretty much going to hit Oregon, Washington State, Idaho, Montana before the cold really moves in. If you guys don't know Jeep Wranglers, if you have the proper type, the panels can come off. So I take these panels off all the time, probably every other day. And if you had too much clutter inside your Jeep or inside your SUV, you would not be able to fit the panels in there.